The Guardian of the Worlds presents Sot's Journal, The Battle for the Gem. Suidak, 28th of Masimenes of the year 41st after Universal War. My dearest journal, after the devastating blow I received when I tried to take this gem for the second time, I lost consciousness. I have no way of knowing how long I was out, but I suspect it was not for too long because just before I recovered my senses, I heard a deep voice urging me to wake up, accompanied by the sound of explosions and shouts in the background. It was clear to me that we were once again caught in a fierce battle for that gem that we so desperately sought. When I opened my eyes, I saw Yakren kneeling beside me, doing everything he could to bring me back to consciousness. A look of relief spread across his face when he saw me wake up. "What happened?" I asked, bewildered, noticing that the blood streaming from my nose had stained my light-colored clothes with a bluish hue.
"It seems we weren't alone. But don't worry. Ish and Arus are already..."
He did not get to finish his sentence before his body collapsed on top of me. Horrified, I realized that the terrifying monster, which I assumed had been the one who knocked me out, had struck my companion from behind, leaving him completely incapacitated. A dreadful feeling of helplessness and fear surged through me as I saw the creature's turquoise eyes locked onto mine, a malicious grin spreading across its face. Without a second thought, the creature reached behind its back and grabbed a massive axe. Judging by its size and the way it was wielded, the weapon must have been incredibly heavy. The monster swung the axe through the air with deadly intent, aiming the sharp blade directly at me. I wish I had been able to control the power of teleportation as my companions did, but I could barely manage my own clumsy erratic movements. So, what chance did someone like me have to dodge such a lethal strike? I quickly shoved Jarek's body off me and rolled to one side, just in time to avoid the deadly weapon. The blade came so close that it grazed my clothes, tearing them despite their resilience. Though I had dodged the first attack, I saw that the monster, driven by the momentum of its heavy weapon, was about to unleash a second strike at a speed that left me no time to react. Fortunately, a powerful blue wave struck the creature, sending it crashing into the wall beside me and saving me from certain death.
"You'd better get out of here now,"
Arus commanded, visibly overwhelmed as he extended a hand to help me up.
"We'll take care of it and retrieve the gem. You need to get to a safe place."
"No, I want to help. I'm tired of running and being a burden,"
"Sot!"
she exclaimed, her piercing gaze cutting through me. I quickly realized that this was not the right time to prove what I could, or rather could not, do. With Arus's help, I got up and ran toward the passage we had come through earlier. Just a second later, the monster arose again. When I glanced back at it, I noticed that the powerful attack it had just endured had not even left a scratch. As I sprinted toward the exit, I saw Ish flying over me, ready to confront our enemy. I estimated this would give me enough time to escape and reach the outside, where Rakt was supposed to be waiting for us. At that moment, as I heard the barrage of attacks my companions were launching at the creature, I ran desperately toward the opening that I believed would lead me to safety. For a fleeting moment, I thought that once outside, Foolishly believing I would not encounter any more obstacles, I would ask Rakt to go back and save my companions. But just as I was about to cross the threshold, the creature, seemingly falling from the sky, landed right in front of me, blocking my path. In disbelief, thinking my companions would manage to stop that thing so I could escape, I glanced back to try to understand what was happening. I was shocked to see both Ish and Arus lying defeated. I could not tell if the creature had killed them or if they were just unconscious, but it hardly mattered. Without anyone to help me, what chance did I have of surviving against this beast? Now that it was so close, I got a much better look of its terrifying appearance. That thing was enormous, nearly 2 meters tall, and seemed even taller thanks to the 2 huge horns among many others that emerged from its imposing golden helmet. It was also incredibly broad, which led me to believe it would not be very agile. How wrong I was. Its arms and chest were covered in a sturdy armor made of the same material as its helmet, while a dark tattered loincloth hung around its waist. And below its knees, it wore greaves made of the same material as the rest of its armor.
Let's see what you're made of, young Sot.
The airy creature said to my surprise. It pointed the sharp spear attached to its axe at me, smiling mockingly, revealing its sharp teeth. I was stunned by the fact that this monster knew my name. How could it be that both those horrible women and this creature knew who I was? And what is more, even though it was not speaking any of the languages I knew, I could understand it. All of this distracted me from noticing that the gem was right there, in front of me, embedded in that lethal axe. Just as it had done moments earlier, it swung its weapon through the air and launched it at me. I am not exactly sure how, but now, with a bit more composure, perhaps due to the adrenaline of facing this adversity alone, I managed to dodge every strike it aimed at me, each one meant to end my life. Despite the violence of its movements, the weight of the weapon forced it to move clumsily, which helped me to evade each of its attacks. However, my luck did not last long, as the creature soon realized, just as I did, that fighting like this would not allow it to achieve its goal. It paused for a moment, then slung the spear back over its shoulder, where it hung between its 2 massive dark wings, which allowed it to move with such agility despite its enormous size. Arus! Yakren! Wake up! I shouted, glancing at my companions' bodies, aware that this might be a decisive moment for me. Determined not to miss the opportunity that fate had given it to finish me off without anyone standing on its way, the creature lunged at me, aiming its right fist at my face. Who could have imagined that such a massive being could move so quickly? The blow was so powerful that it sent me flying several meters back. Honestly, despite the tough training sessions with Yakren, who occasionally landed a punch on me, no one had ever hit me with such force and energy as that thing did. I barely managed to get back on my feet when, still dizzy, I noticed blood once again streaming from my nose, staining the already filthy floor with blue. Quickly, realizing that the creature could attack me again at any moment, I stood up as best I could. But it was not fast enough. Before I could defend myself, she struck me again with its powerful fists, this time, time, hitting me in the stomach and knocking the wind out of me. I fell Not that it mattered much to it. It did not waste any time and continued to unleash a flurry of blows, which gradually left my frail body battered. Despite the resilience of my clothes, all those hits left me with numerous cuts and wounds that slowly drained my blood and energy. Finally, I collapsed, weakened, against the side of the gallery. I remember tasting the salty tang of blood in my mouth as it flowed from my lips, while the blows to my face left my right eye swollen shut, causing intense pain. With heavy steps, I watched the creature reach behind it to grab the deadly weapon again, which it likely intended to use to end my life. I lay there, immobile and struggling to even breathe, trying in vain to summon any remaining strength that might help me escape this dire situation.
To think that someone so powerful could fear such an insignificant skip as you.
I remember hearing it say with that horrible voice, laughing as it aimed the blade of its axe at me. It is true that later on, when I was safe, I had more time to reflect on what that being had said, but at that moment, I was in no condition to ponder about. As the creature stood just centimeters away from me, thinking it had finally achieved its goal, I closed my eyes, praying for a miracle.